Yes, I'm afraid it's true, and I'm really sorry. After 13 years of making Wheeler Dealers, I'm now going to be leaving the show.
Wheeler Dealers has long been celebrated as one of the most beloved car restoration shows on television, captivating audiences across the globe with its blend of practical mechanics and market-savvy car trading. At the center of its success was Edd China, a towering figure not only in height but also in talent, known for his calm demeanor, deep technical knowledge, and unwavering dedication to the craft. So, when Edd suddenly announced his departure at the peak of the show's popularity, fans were left stunned. How could the mechanical genius behind the show just walk away? Was it creative burnout, personal conflict, or something more troubling behind the scenes? The truth behind Edd China's exit and the dramatic shift it triggered might just shock you. When Wheeler Dealers first aired, few could have predicted the lasting impact it would have on the car show genre. At the heart of its success was the unlikely pairing of Mike Brewer and Edd China, two men with entirely different approaches to cars and television, yet together, they created something unique. Mike Brewer, a seasoned car trader with a background in television, brought energy, charm, and business savvy to the show. He had a knack for spotting undervalued vehicles and negotiating deals with charisma that made the process entertaining. Mike's role was clear: find the car, strike a bargain, and keep the pace moving. On the other end of the spectrum was Edd China, towering and soft-spoken. Edd was an engineer with a deep well of knowledge and a passion for detail. He didn't just fix cars, he explained the why and how behind each repair with a calm precision that drew viewers in. His segments were thoughtful, patient, and often surprisingly soothing, transforming the garage into a classroom for gearheads and beginners alike. The dynamic between the two was compelling. Mike's high energy balanced Edd's methodical approach, creating a rhythm that felt both exciting and grounded. Together, they brought viewers along for every step of the restoration journey, from deal-making to diagnosis to the final test drive. The original format of Wheeler Dealers emphasized authenticity. Cameras didn't cut away when a job got messy or complicated. Viewers saw it all: the grime, the setbacks, and the technical challenges. This transparency, especially in Edd's workshop segments, made the show stand out. It wasn't just about the before and after transformations, it was about the process, the learning, and the genuine satisfaction of doing things right. In a landscape filled with overly polished and scripted car shows, Wheeler Dealers offered something real. The combination of Mike's salesmanship and Edd's technical brilliance gave the show broad appeal, whether you were a casual viewer or an aspiring mechanic. Their contrasting styles didn't clash. They complemented each other in a way that felt organic, and that balance became the core of the show's charm. When Wheeler Dealers first rolled onto screens in the UK, it was a modest production, a small garage, 2 hosts, and a shoestring budget. Yet its authenticity and straightforward approach struck a chord with viewers, who appreciated seeing real mechanics at work rather than just flashy restorations. Word of mouth turned into online buzz, and before long, countries around the globe were tuning in to watch Mike and Edd breathe new life into forgotten classics. By 2013, the producers saw an opportunity to push Wheeler Dealers beyond its British roots. They struck deals with American networks eager to tap into the booming car restoration trend. The move promised access to a massive market where die-hard auto enthusiasts and reality TV fans overlapped. In return came bigger budgets, glossier sets, and a faster shooting schedule designed to feed the demand of international viewers. Suddenly, the little UK garage was accompanied by a sprawling workshop outfitted with state-of-the-art lighting, camera rigs, and multiple camera angles for every wrench turn. Production crews expanded, bringing on executive producers, network executives, and storyline consultants whose mandate was to ensure each episode delivered maximum entertainment value. Spectacular reveal sequences, high-energy voiceovers, and dramatic before and after montages became staples. At first glance, the polish was welcome. The cars looked sharper, the production values gleamed, and the show felt more professional. Yet some longtime fans couldn't shake the feeling that something essential had been overlooked. The grit of real garage work, the long welds, the unexpected snags, the in-depth troubleshooting started to feel truncated or omitted altogether. Quick cuts and punchy edits replaced the unhurried, detailed tutorials that had initially defined the series. In transforming into a television empire, Wheeler Dealers undeniably gained scale and spectacle. But as the workshop lights grew brighter, some of the raw, educational charm that had drawn viewers in the first place began to flicker. The question then became, could the show maintain its soul under the weight of its own success? As Wheeler Dealers gained global traction, subtle but significant changes began to emerge, particularly in how the show was structured and who was placed at its forefront. Longtime viewers noticed a gradual reduction in the technical deep dives that had once been the backbone of the series. Detailed segments that used to explain the nuances of a brake rebuild, gearbox repair, or electrical fix were shortened, glossed over, or even skipped entirely. In their place, episodes began leaning heavily into entertainment elements, dramatic car reveals, fast-paced editing, and scripted banter that, while engaging, left less room for authentic mechanical storytelling. The goal was clear make the show more accessible to broader audiences, especially in the U.S. market. But in doing so, it risked alienating its original fanbase car lovers who tuned in not for flash, but for function. Edd China, as the show's mechanical guru, began to feel the impact of this shift firsthand. Despite being one of the two pillars of Wheeler Dealers, his presence on screen subtly diminished over time. His signature calm explanations and hands-on demonstrations were increasingly sidelined to make room for faster pacing and a tighter runtime. Fans noted that Edd seemed less engaged, even distant, in certain episodes, not due to a lack of passion, but perhaps because his role was being diluted.
This new direction is not something I'm comfortable with, as I feel the corners I was being asked to cut compromised the quality of my work and would erode my integrity as well as that of the show.
Behind the scenes, these creative compromises did not go unnoticed by Edd. He recognized that the direction of the show was veering away from the educational ethos he had helped establish. Studio interference and editorial mandates placed more emphasis on what would sell than what would teach. The workshop was slowly being treated less like a garage and more like a set. Though the tensions weren't explosive or public at first, they were quietly building. Edd's love for mechanics and viewer education clashed with the growing pressure to package Wheeler Dealers as a commercial product. For someone driven by passion and craftsmanship, the shift was not just uncomfortable, it was unsustainable. Before we explore our amazing journey further, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, All Profiles. Your support enables us to keep delivering more inspiring and impactful stories like his. Thank you for being a cherished member of our community. As Edd China's departure from Wheeler Dealers sent shockwaves through the fan base, the fallout affected not only the show's format, but also the relationship between the remaining host, Mike Brewer, and the audience. What began as a creative dispute over the direction of the show quickly spiraled into a series of unproven accusations against Mike. Some fans began to suspect that he had played a role in Edd's exit, believing he had sided with the network's interests to prioritize flashy entertainment over the show's technical integrity. The whispers and rumors grew louder online, fueled by a growing perception that Mike had allowed the changes to take place, and possibly even encouraged them. Some viewers suggested that Mike's desire for more control and influence behind the scenes might have led to a rift between him and Edd, with the network's demands tipping the scale. These accusations, although never substantiated, began to tarnish Mike's image, casting him in the role of a villain in the eyes of some fans. The impact of this speculation was swift and severe. Mike Brewer and his family were subjected to a torrent of online harassment. Threats were made, and the situation escalated to the point where law enforcement had to be involved to ensure their safety. In an emotional interview, Mike revealed the toll this took on him personally and on his family, including the distress caused to his wife and daughter. He recounted how a threatening message had even led him to call the police for protection. Despite the ongoing online fury, Mike publicly stood by Edd's decision, praising his talent and supporting his former co-host's ethical stance. He denied any involvement in Edd's departure, asserting that he had no knowledge of what was happening behind closed doors and had always respected Edd's work. However, the damage to his reputation was done. While Mike maintained his position as the face of the show, the shadow of these accusations continued to follow him, and the public perception of his role in the drama remained clouded.
He worked fantastically, and he's an amazing talent, a brilliant mechanic. But he'd just become disenchanted with the whole notion of how we made the show.
The controversy surrounding Mike Brewer highlighted the darker side of public opinion, where the complexities of behind-the-scenes decisions were oversimplified and turned into a personal attack. Ultimately, Mike was left to navigate the aftermath of a situation that, while not of his making, would haunt him for some time. After Edd China's departure, Wheeler Dealers faced the daunting task of replacing a legend. Two mechanics were brought in to fill his shoes, Ant Anstead and Mark Elvis Priestley. Both were skilled and brought their own unique qualities to the show. But the challenge of matching Ed's unmistakable charm and technical expertise was immense. Ant Anstead, a former police officer turned mechanic, brought energy, practicality, and a polished, camera-ready presence to the series. His hands-on approach and quick pace contrasted with Ed's calm, meticulous style. Ant's natural charisma and familiarity with the spotlight helped him fit in seamlessly with Mike Brewer. But despite his best efforts, fans couldn't help but compare him to the original mechanic. While Ant offered a fresh dynamic to the show, his fast-paced, entertaining approach felt less educational and more geared toward entertainment, which some fans saw as a loss of the show's core value of in-depth mechanical knowledge. Mark Elvis Priestley, another mechanic who followed Ant, offered a different energy, one rooted in passion, warmth, and a deep technical understanding. His genuine enthusiasm for car restoration made him a fan favorite, but even his infectious personality couldn't erase the lingering sense of loss. Despite the skills and charisma Elvis brought, the spirit of the original Wheeler Dealers, with Ed's calm demeanor and technical brilliance, was felt to be missing. Ultimately, while both Ant and Elvis brought their own strengths to the show, the persistent sentiment among fans was that Wheeler Dealers had changed irreparably. The balance and authenticity that Ed brought to the series felt lost in the transition, and many viewers could never fully embrace the new dynamic, no matter how capable the new hosts were. In 2021, Edd China made a triumphant return to the world of car restoration, but this time on his own terms. Leaving behind the constraints of television networks and production schedules, he launched his own YouTube series, Workshop Diaries. This move marked a dramatic shift in the way he presented his passion for mechanics, offering a platform where he could operate freely without the pressures of advertisers, scripted formats, or corporate mandates. The format of Workshop Diaries was simple yet incredibly powerful. No flashy edits, no commercial breaks, and most importantly, no network interference. Ed could now focus solely on what mattered most to him: genuine, in-depth educational content. Each episode allowed viewers to follow his meticulous, thoughtful process as he worked on a variety of vehicles, from classic cars to experimental electric vehicle EV conversions. His mechanical deep dives, detailed restorations, and creative problem-solving showcased a level of technical expertise that had previously been a hallmark of Wheeler Dealers, but without the constraints of time and commercial breaks. The content of Workshop Diaries was a celebration of Ed's love for mechanics. He went beyond simply showing repairs. He broke down every step, explaining the reasons behind each decision, providing the audience with a deeper understanding of the craft, whether it was restoring vintage Land Rovers or building prototypes. Ed's approach was methodical, precise, and deeply educational. The response from the community was overwhelmingly positive. Fans of Wheeler Dealers, who had missed the depth and authenticity that Ed brought to the show, flocked to his new series. The unfiltered nature of the content, combined with Ed's relaxed, unhurried demeanor, made it feel like a return to the roots of car restoration, shows, educational, authentic, and, most importantly, enjoyable. Workshop Diaries quickly garnered a loyal following, with viewers appreciating the freedom Ed now had to produce content without the constraints of a network. Subscribers flooded in, and the comment sections were filled with praise for Ed's integrity and passion. For many fans, it felt like they were watching Ed return to his true calling, bringing his original magic back to the screen in a more personal, unvarnished format. Mike Brewer and Edd China took very different paths following Edd's departure from Wheeler Dealers, but both have continued to contribute significantly to the automotive world. Mike, staying with the show, adapted to a modernized format that embraced new faces and evolving trends in car restoration. While the show retained its core concept of restoring vehicles, the emphasis shifted slightly to appeal to broader audiences, incorporating faster-paced edits and contemporary production techniques. Mike's role, though central, has evolved, and the show has tried to balance between its roots and the demands of a global, modern market. On the other hand, Edd China pursued a more personal journey. Through his YouTube channel, Workshop Diaries, he has stayed true to his values, focusing on educational, unfiltered content that showcases his deep passion for mechanics. Edd's path has been about maintaining integrity and trust with his audience, something that he felt was compromised in his final years on Wheeler Dealers. His series allows him to work on projects at his own pace, without the constraints of commercial pressures or production timelines, which resonates with viewers who appreciate his authenticity. While both approaches have their merits, neither is inherently right or wrong. They simply represent different ways of engaging with the automotive community. Mike's mainstream approach appeals to a broader demographic, while Edd's independent style attracts those who crave depth and authenticity. The question remains, could there ever be a reunion between the two? While it seems unlikely in the short term, the idea of seeing Edd and Mike back together, combining their strengths, is a tantalizing prospect for many fans who long for the old magic. Only time will tell if their paths will converge once again. Edd China and Wheeler Dealers represent a clash between artistic integrity and business demands. Edd's passion for authenticity left a lasting impact on car culture, while Mike Brewer adapted to television's evolving landscape, ensuring the show's success. Both contributed significantly to automotive TV. But for loyal fans, the story isn't over. Whether through Edd's independent ventures or Mike's ongoing work, their legacies continue to shape the industry. The garage door may have closed, but the possibility of a reunion or new chapter remains a hopeful prospect. Thank you for tuning in to All Profiles. We sincerely appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Be sure to subscribe to All Profiles and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our newest content. Your engagement means everything to us, and we look forward to having you back in our next video.